And we're live. Hi, guys. My name is Jessica, and this is Jay Gilly Tarot. I'm a psychic medium. I've been working as a professional psychic for about 6 years now. And I'll let Zara introduce herself.
Hi, I'm Sarah. I'm a psychic medium. I'm an energy reader and all things esoteric on my brain all the time.
Right? I know. So today we wanted to kind of do a conspiracy theory with a psychic twist. I wanted to share and present the live videos I collected from the Cannes Film Festival. And my StreamYard is not agreeing with me and giving me trouble today. So apologies. I'm going to get that squared away for next weekend whenever we go live. But I wanted to kind of shoot the shit, so to speak, about the red carpet. There's been some weird celebrity sightings, in my opinion. And it looks like a lot of the women in Hollywood are suffering from withdrawals from the achrome. It looks like Demi Moore. She was scary looking. And I'm a big proponent of skin is always telling us the story of the liver. And all of a sudden her skin is just drastically overnight. I don't know if you saw her, but she just looks like a skeleton. Maybe she's on the GLP shot as well. A lot of people are going crazy wild with that shot. But yeah, and she kind of was giving me Ellen DeGeneres vibes, like the achrome withdrawals. And yeah, they look like they're melting. Their frequency can't hold anymore on this earth plane. So also John Travolta. Okay, we have to talk about it. So what are your thoughts on the beret? The whole thing? Yeah, he does not look like the same person, same human whatsoever.
Yeah. No, this is not the same person. So you see these media outlets, oh, look how fantastic he looks, look how young he looks. It is not him. And there is a video out there, and you can see interview. Do you know what? The first time I saw it, I was about, I was going to go to see, I think I saw Grease. My mother took me to see Grease when I was tiny itty bitty, and I think I fell asleep in the cinema. But later I watched it, and I had it on as a teenager. I had it on video on VSH. Is that right? VSH? VHS. VHS. I had it on VHS, and throughout the summer holidays I would watch it and then rewind it. I had to rewind the old videotapes, rewind it, play it again, rewind it, and it was just on constant play throughout there. And so he was a big part of the culture of my young life. And then I remember seeing him on, I can't remember if it was, we have two interviews, like you've got quite a lot of, your shows, they're very, you've got Letterman and all of those different things, haven't you? Well, we had Parker, we had Michael Parkinson, and we had Terry Wogan, and we had, now who was the other one? I can't remember, but we had one or two, but yeah, Parky was like adored, absolutely adored. But Terry Wogan, I adored him. Now he's probably got a dark past, because they all have, especially as it was BBC, you see. So if he was connected and high up in the BBC, he was either facilitating or taking part in the child situation. But the first time I saw John Travolta being interviewed, I was shocked, because he came across in an interview as the least dynamic person ever. And, you know, in his Saturday Night Fever in Greece, in Pulp Fiction, these amazing, dynamic, bright, vibrant characters that he played, you know, or cool or whatever. And he sat there and he spoke in monotone. He was literally monosyllabic, and he was talking about his driving, his flights, what's it called, a pilot's license and all of that. And I was shocked. I was like, oh my God, this man has got no charisma whatsoever. He is so dull. You know, when you know, really, because that's what we thought back then, that the real him was the one he was presenting to Parky or to Michael Aspel or whoever it was. And I was shocked. Anyway, with that in mind, with that backdrop, in comes Mr. Beret, who has a similar facial feature, so much so that you would say, God, doesn't he remind you of someone? Yeah, it really reminds me of John Travolta. Yeah, a younger looking John Travolta. Yeah, he does. Yeah, before his hair went grey and his face looks a bit smaller, a bit tighter. But that is the extent. Anyway, and then I saw it, I thought, clone, 100% clone. And but then like a sped up younger clone, like, you know, oh, like, quick, make a John Travolta quickly, make him look older, like, you know, draw him a bit more haggard. No, they didn't quite pull that off. So and then I saw this today, or yesterday, it could have been, saw this interview, and it's a different voice, it's a different energy. He's speaking like this. It sounds like oh, I don't know,
a squeezed voice box, like his original voice box, just like squeezed,
yeah, like a little
bit.
guy, doesn't he? Whereas Travolta's like slow, but, you know, it gives like you say, a feeling of sort of stature. But this guy's like, hi, it's like almost Joe Pesci, Pesky. What's his name? Pesky. Yeah. So I was like, oh God, not only, you know, at first I thought clone. Now I'm thinking, yeah, just not even a good clone, like a really badly.
A hybrid.
Oh, right, maybe.
I wish I could show you the compilation video I have. It's so good. It shows John Travolta over the years. And I'm a big person where I pick up on idiosyncrasies, especially as a dancer. And what I noticed was that, okay, obviously in Saturday Night Fever in Greece, he is loosey-goosey in the hips. He's really good at, you know, and even I was watching the Jamie Lee Curtis old 80s movie. Oh my God, with the hips.
Hilarious.
Oh
hilarious.
My God. I was like, this is really provocative.
Cringy.
Like, oh
yeah, and slightly cringy, isn't it? When you watch it now, you're like, and he's like, he's pulling all the eyes, and you're like,
everyone's like getting into it in the exercise class. I was like, I've never seen the movie before, but the clips were like hilarious.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my God, I can't believe this was like just out in the open in an 80s movie. It was hilarious. But anyway, he was very obviously a dancer, and so very trim in his waistline, and his hips were very loose, and like he could move, right? Now, ever since he went bald, I think there's been 2 versions of clones, and I was reading the energy of his aura. I think the first one was maybe whatever in the last 5 years where he's completely bald. Yeah. And I think that when they do these clones, obviously there's some mind control that goes into it. And also they put in some reptilian DNA, because I find their hair never fully translates into the new clone version. So they're always adding these little accessories like the beret to kind of like, it's almost like male contouring with makeup. It's like, and you can see he's like, they have him in white and black. They're trying to do contrasting colors to take away from his jaw. Like he, in like the 90s, the early 2000s, he has a very wide masculine jaw.
Yeah.
And here it's like, holy, what the artificially inseminated beard is that? It's like painted on. It looks like
Yeah.
it's like hair plugs for his mustache. It doesn't even look like the same hair from his mustache to his beard, and his jawline is just like cut off. Then also in past movies, like in Pulp Fiction and stuff, you can still see the dimple on his chin underneath his beard, even though he had hair. I can't see it on his interviews from Cannes Film Festival. I can't see it. In fact, it looks like there's a piece of prosthetic skin that looks like a little bumper that hits the light. And then he has this bulge on right on top of his collar. His neck is really, really, I mean, he normally had a wide neck, but there's like this bulging reptilian looking aspect to his neck that over the years he did not have. So I wish I could show you the compilation that I had created.
It's a shame, and you've worked hard on it. Maybe you can just tag it in and the end. Obviously it's no good for the live, but if anyone watches after, you could tag it in on the end, couldn't you? But or slip it in the middle. But yeah, but the interesting thing is, okay, so for me, right, suddenly I want to sort of explore the psychology of it, because I'm thinking, are they serious or are they having an absolute joke? Are they seriously slipping it in with a clouded sense of this is going to be okay, don't worry, it'll be okay? Are they delusionally putting him in there thinking it's being bought, whereas obviously all the media around are like, God, look how young he looks? Nobody's saying it's not him. They're all saying, God, look how young he looks. You know, what is the psychology behind that? Because
Mockingbird News.
are they is this part of the ritual, as in, you know, put it in plain sight, and or is this a mistake? They're losing their grip, they're not really thinking about it, or is it actually, you know, I mean, without a shadow of a doubt, it is there to help the waking people up. It's designed to wake people up, but possibly not by them. What do you think on that? I just can't get my head around it.
Sometimes I think it's just like bait, and like just to see if they'll catch on, and putting it. I think Cannes is part of like the Met Gala, you know, tour of rituals. You know what I mean? And it's always this pomp and circumstance for the red carpet. And I don't know, the Cannes Film Festival, like security team, they look very abrasive. There's always issues with certain models and actresses, and it just looks very hostile there, I would say, much more than the Met Gala. But the Met Gala this year, I mean, Heidi Klum in the Stonewall, I don't know, statuesque get up. It was pretty hilarious. I loved it because we weren't expecting it. But I definitely think that the celebrities are trapped in a hellhole and trying to tell us in plain sight what's going on.
Yeah.
And like was it Cardi B? She looked like the hantavirus, like literally.
See, I can't quite remember, because it was, I'll have to have another look, because I can't quite remember what I saw. I do, but that, because of John Travolta sticking in my brain more than anything. But it's interesting because my sister's sister-in-law, she directed. She's directed a few films, but she directed a film, and all her films are so amazing, and they're all filmed where we grew up. And but her film, God, see, this is my problem. It's hot today and my brain's gone, but I can't actually remember what it's called. Oh, damn it. But anyway, it was a fantastic film, and it won some awards, and she got to Cannes, and so, and she's amazing. She's amazing, genuine girl, not involved in any type of skullduggery or cult or anything. And Jane Gull is her name. But so there is genuine people there, but obviously that is usually where the films get plucked, and the actors get plucked from, and then sort of fed to the Hollywood conveyor belt, the monster conveyor belt. So
the meat grinder.
The meat grinder, yeah, exactly. But yeah, so I'm trying to think about some of the others, but I do remember there was the Ukrainian woman, and then there was Kelly Rowland, wasn't there, where she was on the steps and she was just trying to turn around. And it became so obsessive, didn't it, about the advertising? There were only certain people that were allowed to stand on the step. Well, that in itself is pretty grotesque to me, that you can't just walk up some steps and turn and look round and have a picture taken. It's sort of the ugly side of like commercializing everything, and it's greed. It's just epitome of greed. So maybe over the years, yeah, it has, really fallen into that sort of hole of corruption, just as much as Hollywood is.
Yeah. What do you guys think? Put QQQ in the comments below with your question. So for me, when I was reading John Travolta's Aura, what stuck out to me is like I wasn't seeing an actual torrid field like a normal auric donut you would see. I saw two almost like in a heart shape. I saw two tornado funnels feeding into one at the bottom. So it kind of looked like a heart, but it looked like split into two. So I guess I have a new symbol now. With Splitterhoff, or look, I have a British accent all of a sudden.
Yeah, well, that's it. That's an
interesting.
that is an interesting perspective. A splitter half, because is that his splitter half, or is that him? Because this is it. You see, like you say, you feel that there's been one. The original John Travolta possibly woken up. So the question is, has he been taken out, or has he agreed to step back out of the light and allow these clones to take his place and present in that way? Because I imagine, you could do that, couldn't you? But it could be open to you, right? Okay, we're going to purchase your name and your character, and we are going to, and you will step back, and we will let you know the times that you're going to be out in public, and therefore you will need to stay out of public. So there could be that. It could be that organization, or obviously it could be like bang bang and it's all over. It could be he could be in agreement.
He is part of the Scientology.
Well, and that's what's making it weird. That's what's making it.
His wife, Kelly Preston, I believe, from, was it Field of Dreams? I remember that movie. I love that movie. But I went and did some digging, and I went to her website. And literally, okay, it's not a good website. I built my own website. It's very simple. So I always like to go and look at other websites and see how like intricate they are. For a celebrity with the amount of money that she has, it is a terrible, terrible website. The photos are not even up to par. They're not even like spaced and dimensionally like embedded properly into the website, which I found really bizarre. And then it's like just tons and tons of pages of philanthropy, charity to Scientology to Haiti. It's very bizarre. It's like you just keep scrolling and it's constant charities. And I was like, interesting. And it's
Weird.
like all backed by the Scientology church that they belong to. And I think that probably him and, oh, yes, by the way, this is all allegedly. This is for entertainment purposes only, not fact, just our psychic opinion. But I just want to cover our bases there because we're getting into controversial waters. But yeah, I find that what's his name? Tom Cruise is also, and that's crazy. They seem both like fanatics with Scientology, and I think there's a lot of brainwashing that goes in there and climbing to the top of the ladder. The more you have money and celebrity status, the more that you're signing over, and that whoever's at the top owns you. But I would say, yeah, he probably. Everything has to have your free will agreement, right? Your signature, your contract. So I would say that, yeah, he's had to allow or sign over his vessel, his DNA to be cloned. And I feel he's pickled off somewhere. I think they have his data and his DNA, because I do think there's been two versions. I think the first one kind of was like, and so they re-engineered him, and he came out with all of the Illuminati symbols on the red carpet. And then the energy between him and his daughter, bizarre, weird. Yeah. Where's his wife? We haven't seen his wife for a while. That's why I went to her website. I was like, this is weird. Yeah. And I was like, are they still married? Is she still alive?
Wasn't there also talk about the fact that, am I getting mixed up? But there was also talk about the fact that Lisa Marie Presley was meant to have been a donor or something, and then there's surrogacy and donor stuff all being discussed as well. And interestingly, mentioning Tom Cruise, I'm pretty sure I heard that someone was saying there was a rumor going around that Tom Cruise had left Scientology, but then they had one of their annual ding dongs, whatever you want to call them. They have an annual some kind of celebration for the person who set it all up. I can't remember his name. Ron, is it Ron?
Ron something, yeah, something
Ron
real,
something.
Yeah, basic.
Ron somebody. I just love the fact that I'm just so full of facts, names, and accurate, depictions of everything. Just
listen,
like
we fly by the seat of our pants here.
Photographic brain here, like photographic memory. But Ron, whatever his name is, and so they have one every year. Apparently it's in Surrey, which is a very affluent area in just on the outskirts of London. That's one of the home counties. And Ron Hubbard, yeah. So apparently they celebrate Ron Hubbard's birthday or something like that every year in Surrey, and it's this big, like, very exclusive Scientology celebration in this massive mansion somewhere in Surrey. And then there was this rumor that Tom had left, and then lo and behold, Shah, babes, lovely to hear from you. But we come into that 100%. Her helicopter's down, and is and pops out of his helicopter, and he's not left Scientology at all. He's right there. So I'm getting the feeling, I'm getting information, get the energy around Scientology. There is a lot of panic. I feel like there's investigations, there's probing, and I feel there's panic around the whole of the Scientology thing. And I think possibly these rumours of him leaving, this thing with what's his face, John Travolta, all of that. I feel like that there is a bit of a sort of sinking ship situation, and the rats are starting to panic and see where they can get out of it. So that I've just got that while I was just rabbiting on. But yeah, just about this comment that Charles put in here. That's a recent thing. Have you seen that? Have you seen that, Jess?
The mask thing with the army bloke on Fox News also going about AE. No. What's AE?
Right. So, have you? I don't know. Have you seen the mask?
Sorry, I
So
don't know.
right. So
Oh.
basically, what's happened is recently, there's this ex-colonel, army guy, ex-colonel, who is. Do you know what? And again, I don't. Don't come here for information, just come here for gossip, okay? Because this brain don't work so well. But he's some kind of army guy, and he's obviously an authority on something. If anyone is in the chat that knows or can look it up, then I'd be grateful. But he's an army guy, and he's gone. There's a picture taken of him on Fox News, and it's the most bizarre thing, because say his neckline is like this, right?
Oh yeah,
right?
I just saw this.
Here is a massive hole, right? And as he's talking, it's almost like the hole is sort of moving towards the rhythm of his talking, right?
And
I think
his eyes, probably, I saw it. It looks like he thought he was going to be cut off. He didn't seem worried about it or something. It was really weird. The bald guy.
Yeah. And then you see, so when you actually look, he's the sort of person that if you saw two men that looked very similar and you went, oh, I've just seen you over there, but then when you put them together, you go, oh yeah, I can see it's totally different. This one's got rounder, more starry eye. Like, he was bizarre because it was like that. But so then you look at the normal picture of him and you can see, and so everywhere it's viral. He's wearing, some guy has put a mask on and is pretending to be this guy. And I suppose in a way they can slip out of that one. But again, it's in plain sight. What is going on is in plain sight. It's just, what is the psychology behind it? But just in regards to clones, okay, I sort of, it's running around your brain and you're seeing these different people, and people were saying, oh, they're clones, this one, that, and until, like we were talking about last week or the week before, until you can really just, it's a funny thing, sovereignty and psychic perception, because it's almost like you have to get your little tentacles all the way round everything before they feel, no, this is right. And so I was listening to all these things, seeing all these things, but I decided, and I had a chat with a friend as well, and they went, yes, that's what I think. So I thought, all right, I'm not the only one. But I do believe that all of these celebrities that are coming forward with drastic facial changes, purporting to have plastic surgery, purporting to have had Ozempic or taken Ozempic, or not admitting Ozempic, but reality is everyone's guessing, oh, it's because they've been on Ozempic because they're so skinny. These, without a shadow of a doubt in my mind, these people have stepped in and the old ones have been taken away. And when you look at the Osborne family, now I think we can say Jack is less obvious. I think he almost looks wholesome right now. And I think and obviously the other Osborne, which I'm not sure even what her name is.
Kelly.
But no, the one that kept out of the public eye. I think they've got three, haven't they? 3 kids. So obviously you've got You've got Ozzy, who was, Black Black Sabbath, isn't it, Ozzy? But anyway, he's in a very sort of dark rock band. And there was talk, I think, he'd bitten a head off a chicken or ripped a head off a chicken and chucked it,
A bat.
And
Yeah.
so if anyone's going to be sort of, called to the dark side, it's going to be that type of rock band that are going to be more sort of swung towards it. Wouldn't be a surprise. And so and then you look at Sharon, and it was a massive, massive, drastic change. And all right, her voice is still there. And who knows, the person doing her must be a good actress, because she seems to be sort of similar. But I haven't done a deep dive on her energy or anything. But then you now look at Kelly, and she is completely different. But what I do think
it ages, and it accelerates the aging process, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And also, you got to do your research, because this is all allegedly. Allegedly, we are not doctors.
Do your own research.
The research is out there, but there is actual snake venom and bits of diarrhea in the Ozempic and GLP. Yeah. And it's terrible, the reports about the side effects and the bowel movements and things like that. It's you got to do your research and weigh the cons, because
definitely. Yeah. But I'm actually now, whereas they tried to sort of suggest it was, I don't believe that. I believe now that those celebrities, one minute they look one way, then the next time they're coming in, they're looking gaunt. Now, there was a Scientology guy sorry, not Scientology guy, he is a Silicon Valley guy, who said he thought that they were just subjected to too much of the rituals and the acrome and all of that. And so he and that is a really interesting point that you bring up, that acrome with the and this is it. I'm now you've said about the acrome, I'm thinking, God, yeah, because I'm now torn. Is it acrome withdrawal? Is it? I don't believe it's Ozempic. I believe it's either they are complete clones that have been replaced, or it's the acrome withdrawal. But that covers to so many of them, doesn't it? You've got even what's his name that's just married Gigi Hadid. Oh, he's so lovely. Oh, he's so lovely. And he had such a lovely energy, which is maybe why they wanted to sort of replace him in The Hangover and the oh god damn.
I don't keep up with the celebrity couples. To me, are always fake. Like, they're like kind of choreographed and readjusted. Yeah. So I always forget
absolutely
them. I
choreographed
and
arranged. It's arranged, isn't it? Yeah. I'm trying to think. Oh God, what is his name? He was in The Hangover anyway, and he was in the main guy, and also he was in with Lady Gaga in what was that one where they had the beautiful music, all the beautiful music.
No one can come after us legally, because we don't even remember the film names.
God, I'm useless. And the heat in London's really
obsessed with him. Oh, let me look it up. This is going to drive me crazy.
Yeah, it's driving me crazy now. Anyway, but he I mean, he had such a lovely energy. He did his Hangover. He did the
Bradley Cooper. There we go.
Bradley Cooper. Yeah, he had this gorgeous energy. He was, he had a sparkle in his eye. And then suddenly he looks totally different. He's gaunt. And he's dull. He's got nothing behind the eyes.
I haven't seen him lately. Well, I think one thing for me is I am very detail oriented, and because I went to nursing school, I'm always like, and as a medium, whenever spirit comes to me, they show me all the details of their outfit and their favorite shoes, and like, I'm just someone that, like, not that I'm like studying people, but I just notice when people get new shoes around me. I just notice little details about things, and also in the aura and like how people present. And so one thing I find, the difference between achrome withdrawals is the integrity of the skin. So Demi Moore was quite thin already and very fit, but her muscle tone and her skin is almost dripping, melting off of her.
Yeah.
It's almost like it needs thirst. And you could arguably say, oh, she's aging and she's losing muscle tone, but that drastically over that amount of time. Yes, she has a lot of money. Yes, I'm sure she can go to the doctors and get whatever she wants, but I don't feel like the doctor would be like, you need Ozempic. I mean, she was very fit and thin. So, and with Ozempic, they lose their cheeks look hollow, way more hollow to me. This integrity of the skin with achrome seems to shift. It's like rigid and it's like tougher and there's no elasticity to it. It's not hugging the muscle. It's like, yeah. So that's the difference that I find. And it's usually the celebrities that had the glow and the shine. And maybe that comes from the achrome. Maybe another thing too is I always do my research before supplements. I'm a big supplement snob. I love taking supplements and getting on the bandwagon with health, but this big craze with NAD, that's a big trend, and NMN for longevity with the stars and stuff. And so I was like, let me go look up this NAD. I want to see what is this made of? What is the chemical structure? And it looks an awful lot like achrome to me. It looks like the same chemical molecular structure. So this is where we get into this kind of like murky territory where everything is hidden in plain sight. We literally have to do our research for everything. And I think that the people at the top of the pyramid, the celebrities that peek behind the curtain of Oz, so to speak, that hold a lot of the money, still to an extent are puppets. And they have their limelight, and then maybe they're recycled and they're cloned, and then they're thrown into a plastic surgeon. So what I find in the clones aura is that they're always a little bit like meeker. And the voice feels like the voice box is squeezed a little bit. It's a little more high pitched, and it feels like they've been through something traumatic, like MK Ultra or programming, or they're like worried. Like John Travolta looked like he was like not as self-confident and strong as he normally presents. It was almost like, wow, I want to do the beret. It was, and it kind of like that Michael Jackson type of energy.
Well, I keep thinking Joe Pesci, because it was just like it was like a little Italian guy. Like, that's not John Travolta at all. There's nothing. But that's the crazy part. I just think, who are they trying to kid? Like, are people? I think there's so many people that just look and go, oh, and then they think, right, do I really want to spend calories thinking about this? No. So I'm just going to accept what they're telling me, and that's it. But I just can't. I just can't. It's crazy. But I do feel that, see, this is another thing with Demi Moore. She had an appearance, not speaking, not anything, just walking stick-like figure in leather, and it was like, who's that? And it's like, is she then agreeing, or maybe she's sick? Maybe she's sick, and because that's another thing. I watched something and it said that there are many, at least 2 Britney Spears. There are at least 2 Britney Spears. From the off, she has been alternating, and she was bred, cloned, and conditioned from the start to become a musician or a pop star. And there's always been at least 2 of them.
Well,
And
listen, I got some scary news for you though. I mean, just in my experience, what I've been through in the last year, I think what I've also been exposed to on the medical side of things and like done my own research, there's only really one monopoly of lab results. There's one company that owns all of
right,
the.
yeah.
So I believe, you make a killing off of donating your plasma, right? And they want your plasma because that is very, very valuable in the sense of biotech, bioengineering. Plasma is, the life force and consciousness that they're studying at a really rapid rate to, in my opinion, compete with God. But yeah, I think that's what makes us so magnetic and master manifestors is our plasma. It's how we telepathic talk and connect with Mother Nature, and telekinesis is done through the biomagnetic field of our plasma. So obviously they give us, that's why you see all the plasma donor places in the ghettos and the wrong side of the tracks. It's like they're feeding off of the American population, the humans. And they're using that and storing all of our DNA. I feel like we all probably have clones, if I'm honest, with our DNA. And that's just allegedly, that's just my personal psychic opinion, because why are they always collecting the DNA, collecting the blood, picking it up? Wisdom teeth also are the family jewels. That's what my guides tell me. And like, why are they always taking out the wisdom teeth? Because it's connected to the pineal gland. So when it comes in, you're getting your ancient wisdom from your ancestry and your bloodline. And you're also getting the downloads psychically from ancient times to learn and evolve. But they don't want us. They want us to stay asleep, and they want us to stay stuck, and they want us to stay programmed. And this, in the Simpsons Homer of it all. So I think they're just dangling a carrot to see if we'll bite with John Travolta, and just put him in a new role and put a beret on it and say, oh, this is the director look. But yeah, I think people are awakening, and their consciousness is ascending so much that people are not buying it. I think that also we can kind of read the energy and see through the trans agenda as well. I'm not sure about Tom Cruise, Mystic Mama. I feel like definitely Naomi Campbell is a man. Allegedly. I think
Allegedly, yeah.
I think she has manly features. I think she's very tall, beautiful, albeit,
I mean,
but
beautiful,
I don't think her soul is beautiful. I think it's quite ugly. So that's why I don't find her that beautiful. But by, fashion standards, yeah, she looks beautiful. But I think what's going around about her in the industry, in the modeling industry, is absolutely deplorable. And also her close connection with the diddler. I mean,
dark.
but what do you
darkness.
think about Tom Cruise? I can see him as feminine. He is quite short. But
no, do you know what? I think physically I'm getting strongly masculine, but I feel that at some point there's been a soul transfer, and the soul transfer was originally a woman. So I feel that it is there is a sort of a combined I don't believe he was born a biological woman, but I believe a biological woman born was transferred into him. That's what I'm hearing. So that
I can see that.
That sort of covers both the masculine and feminine of it. But just going back to what you said about storing and keeping DNA, I've just I haven't just come across Guy Anderson. I've been watching Guy Anderson for a little bit, but I've just come. I mean, something that he's very passionate about and writes about, and you know, he's sort of launching pad really, is the Tartarian civilization and how they were taken out, and then so his YouTube is Tesla and the Cabbage Patch
Yeah, the
Kids.
Cabbage Patch Kids. Yeah, that's a crazy story.
Crazy. But he's written a few books about it, but he's also written a book on cloning. And so I definitely need to get that on audiobook, because this is where I just feel I want more information on the clones. I want more. I mean, I understood. I don't know if I said this before, but I understood, in fact, that the Area 51 is where they hold the cloning facilities. So yes, nothing to do with aliens. I think there is alien species living down there, but it's actually
Military base.
well, yeah, military base, but also there's bases down there, there's accommodation down there, there is clone facilities, there are experimental clinics, or for want of the better word, but yeah, so so that is something I think that could really sort of open things up. And what part of it was suggesting that when you actually go back in your ancestry, now my cousin went back in our ancestry and he took us back to I think it was the 1780s, could have been 1790s, but that was the last birth that he could record. And that is apparently a common theme when people are researching back. They cannot get past that 1800 mark.
Yep,
Or
1876.
you know,
Yeah.
oh, is it 1876?
That's
So
around
there,
the time the mud flood and all that stuff. Apparently, they brought in, you know, they had the big Tartarian buildings in New York, and then they just had these like kind of Cabbage Patch, you know, people on the train, and then the horse and buggies, but they had all these elaborate tall buildings, and they had the World's Fair with all the crazy like etheric energy, you know, antennas and the cathedrals, and then all of a sudden it just like shifts to horse and buggy, and people are running amok and like almost maybe posed in New York shots and things like that. So you can tell that a lot of those historical photos in New York City and like Times Square are like doctored up and like photoshopped. It's very interesting.
Yeah, because I noticed someone, I can't remember if it was in London or not, but someone pointed out a mud window or a mud thing in a building.
Right.
Yeah, so there's that. I mean, that's another crazy story where, you know, another you know, we've just been, you know, over time and time again we've been manipulated. So, you know, I just think that it's such a massive topic that I just really want to just really dive straight into and get as much information as I can. And I do wonder when we will see the truth out on all of that, because I think there's so many 3D individuals that just don't believe in clones.
Yeah, well, and that's the kind of like I think that's the secret garden for us to find. They're giving us the truth in plain sight.
Yeah.
And you gotta, but like I learned the hard way. My entire life has been believing people at their word and their first impressions, because not everybody is like us.
Yeah.
And you have to listen to the discernment in your body. this person's giving me a weird vibe.
Yeah.
And, I used to
It
be like,
screams so loud though,
sorry.
doesn't it? And sometimes you really ignore it, but it is absolutely screaming at you,
And you're
and
like,
you
oh, don't
just
be
ignore
mean.
it.
Don't be so critical or
We
judgmental.
all
Give
do
them
it. We
another
all do
shot.
it.
Yeah. Yeah. Now I'm just, at the age now where I'm just like, nope, done.
But yeah. Always. I always trust myself now. I'll always trust myself because I have, I do the benefit of the doubt, but I'll always protect myself. The wall's always half up, because I can't. Kelly, she looks ill, but I believe she is cloned. She is just a cloned person that hasn't been able to put on the weight, who is unhealthy, who's probably got as much as I don't really understand the cloning process. I feel like there's a what's the word, a glitch in that DNA makeup that's making them, they're moving the clones in, but the clones are generally unhealthy, either not able to put on weight or just, so. And I noticed another comment earlier that said, that the constant plastic surgery is to try and make themselves look more like the individual that they've been cloned to be, replacing.
For me, I feel like Kelly is a little bit just kind of maybe addicted to the Ozempic, or allegedly. This is just what I see in her aura. It looks like it's Ozempic, that maybe she's overdone it with Ozempic.
Right.
Because
Right.
her cheeks are that hollowing out. But
Yeah.
what I will say about this, and this is all allegedly. This is I'm only taking from my own experience as a psychic, because it is through my experience what I had happened to me with my ex boyfriend, who I didn't realize was in this cult and had signed this contract. I got my guides. Thank God I was given the warnings spiritually. Thank God I was tapped in and could hear. And I kind of unpacked it this last year and been scribbling in my dream journal. And what I learned, because it was hard for me to process, did he really do that? When we're living together and always together, how is this possible? And the greed and money and fame, and that is something that will tickle the ego. And I've never wanted to be that. I've always been very much my own person. And I'm a very much a life path one. I don't want anyone owning me or controlling me. And so I'm very skeptical about contracts. And if it doesn't feel right, I get out of it. I signed one with a nonprofit and I immediately got out of it because I realized it was terrible. And thank God we didn't get really far. But I did my research after the fact and I was like, oh, nope, I don't agree with this. And they wanted to steal all of my creative intelligence ideas for their coursework. So luckily I didn't give it to them. But yeah, so anyway, what I've learned through the dream state and through that whole process, they were trying to do witchcraft on me, try to get me cornered and blackmailed so that I had no choice but to also sell my soul. And when they couldn't sacrifice me, it was like they were kind of like, what? So I was getting all these dreams and these downloads after the fact, getting me up to speed. And what I learned is that there are certain rituals that they will do as they get initiated higher. And in order to get higher in the fame game, what it seems, or what I've personally seen by my guides, is that you have to sacrifice someone. You have to do something to get to climb.
Yeah.
And one of the things I saw in their, I guess, sex orgies or sex ritual cult things, it was like a big circle. And I saw him in the middle in a red string tied up, and they were rolling him around like a ball naked. and I was like, oh, this looks like Eyes Wide Shut. Like I literally like told my guys, I was like, I don't want to see this. And but yeah, and it was really, really scary. It was like I was watching it on a movie in my screen, and they were like, yeah, he did this. And so when you do certain rituals, what I saw is you are able, if you want to, swap bodies. So that's something I didn't even know, like just out of a sci-fi movie. I've never seen that on TikTok or heard anyone's experience similar to that. That's what I just saw, like my guides talking to me, like, do not talk to him ever again. He's not what you think he is. His soul has already gone too far to the dark side, and you do, like, even if I was like getting close or talking to one of his friends, I could not sleep that night. It was like all of my entire nervous system was firing off. So a big one too, if I can help you guys out, like your nervous system is going to absolutely talk to you when you're around these types of people that are involved in the dark arts, who are doing bad things to children behind the scene. You will feel it in your body. It's like an antenna, and you can't even sit in peace with it. So yeah, so that was a lot to process and a lot to swallow. But like I listened because my body was just like, no, it's so scary. So yeah, I've experienced that it's possible to body hop.
Yeah. Well, I understood that you could do that, but I didn't realize you could do it through ritual. I just understood that that's something that they had developed, is the ability to transfer the souls. But interestingly, you mentioned something earlier, and it brought it reminded me, I can't remember what you said, but it reminded me, apparently, interestingly, skipping topic to a totally different celebrity, allegedly, although it isn't alleged, because what my friend told me, she said she'd seen recently that Justin Bieber had called out Mariah Carey. Mariah said something about the fact that her sister and her mother, sacrifice, had died on exactly the same day in different places, but they died exactly the same day. And that's what it's allegedly assumed was her sacrifice. And apparently on his Twitter, she mentioned it, remembering my mum and my sister on this day. Apparently Justin Bieber posted underneath something, I can't remember, my head's mush, but it was something really calling her out, suggesting he was referring to them being her sacrifice that she put forward. So it's interesting, because I wondered when Justin, or if Justin, would crack, because all the alleged gossip, all the gossip is that, and I believe it, is that Justin really suffered and was passed around and used in these rituals, in the Diddy situation. And I mean, it's no surprise really that people jump to that conclusion. Well, it's not exactly a jump, is it? It's almost a pigeon toe step. But yes, and I did think, is he, without a shadow of a doubt, I can feel it, that he has been severely abused and damaged. But what I can also feel is that he has come to deal with it. He has attempted to deal with it. He has moved into it. Then you see him performing, and he does some lame performance where he's just going through some videos. So I'm like, everyone's like, oh right, he's back in with the, he's back in with the music industry cabal, is he? Oh, okay. But I do wonder whether that is a
Well,
claim because
I think it's a combination. So the Illuminati goes hand in hand with the Freemasons, and the Freemasons, I just learned Freemasons, in court, like the judge has to side with if there's another Freemason,
yeah.
that the
They
judge
can't give
cannot.
evidence against anyone who is
No, they
also
can't.
Freemason.
They can't. That the other Freemason, like the defendant, or they have to side with the other Freemason. So
Oh, so yeah,
if you were to sue
yeah, they
a
can't.
Freemason and you go and you
Yeah,
check, make sure you do your research and check the judge, and
yeah,
if it's on usually can find where they're if they're on committees and things like that,
yeah.
but because they
They
work,
can't go against them.
yeah, they're always going to choose their own kind, or they're going to win in court. But also too, I think they use children, your children against you, and so I'm absolutely. I mean, Justin is very talented and they're bread and butter, so I'm absolutely certain there's probably a lot of threats behind the scene, and there's a lot of pressure. But I am proud of him for saying no to Usher for the halftime show and things like that. It's little like hints there, here and there,
Yeah,
where he's like, no, and
yeah,
distancing himself from Diddy and things like that.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And Scooter, the guy who is his manager, Scooter Barn, or yeah, no, this is it. I just feel like though he really does hold such a big well, he holds a real winning card, because I just feel that if he did come out, he is going to be 100% supported, and he could be so crucial to bringing the whole lot down. But then that is his world, and it has been since he's very small. So I understand it's a very difficult position to be in, but I am like, for a long time I was like, is he going to crack? Is he going to hi Mike, and then and then it's sort of held back, and now it's like he's got tidbits that he's letting go at, like you say, the movements against Scooter and Usher and things like that. So there is a potential that he could sort of turn to the and work on the light, on the side of the light. You never know.
Yeah, and I think holding space for the traumas and we don't know how horrible and traumatic it can be at the hands of those people, especially as a young child as well. So yeah, at this point, what I've been through, and just as my work as a psychic medium and my own spiritual journey, I just try not to judge and hold space, but I no longer allow things to slide. Like I always thought that everybody was just as loving and unconditionally loving as myself, and that's just that kind of opens you up to these predators right away. If you have your own business, it's like they want to they get around you, and so that's why I'm always a big proponent of like owning your own LLC and like making yourself a sovereign citizen and doing your research and what you're putting in it on your body, because even now, like where I'm buying my bra, it's like, oh, the one that fits the best is Victoria's Secret, and I'm like, I can't keep buying from them anymore. Like I can't.
See, listen, but I get it. I 100% get it. But what we can't, and anybody in that position where they can say, I'm not going to do that because I'm not going to support that brand. I'm not going to support that brand. And that is ideal if you can be in that position. However, I'm disabled. I don't drive at present, and I have to run a house on my own with a pair of like rambunctious 10-year-olds, and I rely on Amazon. I rely on Amazon.
Yeah,
And
that's another
it's
one too.
so hard. And I get it. Oh, Amazon, let's all boycott Amazon. And yeah, I mean, I can arrange my life so that if we're all going to work together, that on that day in June the 19th, nobody use Amazon. I can do that. That's fine. But don't tell me to cut myself off, because I just can't help it. I cannot get out. I cannot do those things. I am reduced to exhaustion most days. And so, I don't think we can get heavy on people. I don't think we can allow ourselves to feel that guilt for doing what we need to do. And I bet you look hot in blooming what's it
Victoria's
called,
Secret.
Victoria's Secret. But
Yeah,
then
no, like I was like, okay, I'm not buying from them anymore because I got it. It's just a sign I need to kind of like get more into linen and to things that are breathable and get away
but
from
you do what you can. You do
fire.
what you can. You've got to just do what you can.
Yeah.
And but just not punish yourself for what you can't.
Yeah.
And what we need to do is, if we can raise the vibration of the planet, get these people flicked out, then the person in charge of Amazon will start, he'll pop off, the current one, and you'll have someone in place of Amazon who is ethical, who pays his Amazon people. My poor Amazon lady turns up today, and whenever it's like this hot in London, I'm like, if I've got them, I'm like, take a Coke with you. And this lady, I said, do you want a Coke? Coke Zero. And she went, oh yeah. And I was like, right, it's in that box that you've just dumped on my doorstep. Let's crack it open. And she was like, oh, thank you. I was like, we look after our Amazon delivery people, because at the end of the day, their boss doesn't. And so it's on days like today, we're not built for heat in the UK. We moan if it's cold, we moan if it's hot, we moan if it's wet, we moan if whatever we moan. And but yeah, the heat, we're not really used to it. So that's all you got to do, is just just send the love out, I think, and things will change.
Yeah, definitely. I try and do what I can. We all have our budgets, and they have carefully curated a system that keeps us stuck on the bigger corporations. And the only thing I try and buy from the small owned businesses, small business like storefronts on Amazon. And even then, I just heard that like Jeff Bezos has this like whole I can't talk, algorithm for like kind of putting them out of business and sticking the original business, small business, at the bottom of the
of course,
search algorithm.
So
it's just like doing little things. And I think community and farmers markets going to be where it's at, where it's almost like we're going towards a Station 11, the HBO series, where everything is going to get so inflated, and that it will force us to have to rely more on our maverick skills, our MacGyver skills. Let's read this comment. Okay, so I vividly remember Oprah saying, look under your seats before giving the entire audience a car. That no longer exists. Now the keys are given out in boxes by female models in pink shirts. Yeah. And then I remember in the 90s, all the people where the gossip went that like everyone was outraged that they had to pay the taxes for the car because they couldn't afford it.
Yeah, and this is it. I mean, let's give out cars so it's a cheap advert for the imagine how many people are watching Oprah, and then it's bye darling, see you soon.
Bye, Sean.
But a cheap advert for the car. Well, hang on a minute. What about sponsoring people you know, for a period of 5 years, not just sell it. It's all about the sales, you know, promotion, sales. Nothing's for free, you know, at the end of the day. And you know, they use these things, but then look at the dark culture. It's like, Ellen, oh my God, it's so amazing. You've got, you know, you've got these massive checks being given out. You've got a holiday. We're giving this to the children. We're giving that to the children. And then behind the scenes, they're snacking on children, you know, and it's like, it's a lie. It's a facade. It's a show. It's absolute theatre to disguise the reality of it. So yeah, it's always look beyond the facade, look beyond that facade.
Oh yeah. You gotta, it's pattern recognition for me
Mm,
in my
mm,
own life. It's like whatever kind of sticks out at you and is more illuminated, like just rattles around in your brain. It feels like a message. I get the
mm.
all the time, all day
Yeah,
long now because I
yeah.
pay attention. When you're kind of in the flow, and it's
Mm,
all, you'll notice a lot of synchronicities happen, or
mm,
right at the perfect time, someone comes up and tells you exactly what you were looking for. And
mm.
yeah, I'm just reading through the comments. Let's see. How are they doing it though? Has to be some form of D-Wave computer, in my opinion. That could be some, definitely. I think with me as well, sometimes this past year, there was some technological hacking into my dream state for sure. Whether it was through my phone or iPad, I'm not really sure, but had to start turning them off at night. And I think there's a lot of weird stuff. I think our bodies are now, our biomagnetic field is getting hacked into as like Wi-Fi. They're running signals and nanoparticles through it to read our thoughts and send us ads. And then we get the electromagnetic smog of the router and the blueprint of our house and where we're standing and all the satellite video and things like that. I mean, yeah, we really don't have any privacy. You can give your privacy. I
Yeah.
don't care anymore. I'm just like, whatever.
Yeah, well, yeah, see, this is it, you see, because I remember people used to say, well, then, you know, you mustn't do this because then they'll have your information. And I used to think, well, I've got nothing to hide. But I think like that only works on the basis that you can trust the people with your information. And what we've learned is you can't trust the people with your information. They are not working on your, you know, they're not on your side. They're not working for the good of humanity. They're not working for the good of the community. They're not working for the people of that country or the world. They're working for number one. They only are interested in their own advancement. And if somebody is there that can give them something, they will give them back. But they're only going to give to them if they can get something back. It's only about what serves them. So we cannot now. I mean, I used to firmly believe that. Well, if you've got nothing to hide, you know, and sort of drugs tests at work situations. I mean, you know, I don't think we have that really. I think that's an American thing. We don't really have that here. But, you know, it's like, well, if you've got nothing to hide, and it's like, that's fine. But what are they doing with that information? How are they using?
Trying to frame you, maybe.
Well, you just
karma.
yeah, but the information is used to have a look at how they can control you. And they are controlling us. We've just had new laws here. Well, there's now debates about children and banning all children from social media. Now, on one argument, people are, oh, yes, because we don't want the children. There's so much damage to the children, all the Blu-rays, blah, 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 all of this. But the reality is they're doing it for one reason and one reason only, because social media puts out information that they cannot control. And they do control it to a certain amount, but there is so much coming through that they cannot take out all of the information. They want those, they are still clinging on to mainstream media being the source of everybody's information. And of course, you know, that is long gone. And the children, you know, they don't even know what the 10 o'clock news is, the 6 o'clock news. When I was growing up, everybody, right, didn't matter what was on. Well, there was nothing on. There was nothing on. Except that, you know, we had, when I was very small, we had 3 channels. Yeah. Then it turned into 4 channels. And then in my teens, I think we had a 5th channel. Yeah. And every single channel was telling you, this is what you watch. We were completely indoctrinated. And that's how the BBC got to the powerful situation where they can allow this abuse and this damage that they've caused, and for it to be all sort of wrapped up and presented as something completely different.
Well, now we have YouTube.
Rant over.
Oh yeah, no, you're good. You're good. This is a rant, safe space.
We rant, yeah. Safe space to rant.
I'm anxious to see how long this video lasts, if it's going to be taken down, because we've covered so much. But it's good. It's good. These things need to be talked about and shared, because there's a lot of experiences that happen in the dark that people are like, did this really happen? Because it's kind of all psychic or it's spiritual, and that's how the magic works. That's what the Freemasons keep hidden, and they control how initiated you get. And that type of information about soul swapping and karma, destiny swapping, and karma switching, it's all about, like, if you show your sins, if you show that person, then they are willingly participating in it. And never mind that they kind of set you up for failure in the beginning with, like, keeping your third eye closed, calcifying your pineal gland, and programming you with other stuff. But you know, and taking advantage of everybody's heart chakra and sense of source and love inside of them, and kind of gaslight it. They make a beautiful business out of gaslighting, I will say. They tie it up and make it look great. And like, wait a second. No.
That's their top tip, isn't it? Gaslighting is their top tip. That, I mean, the you know, and the gaslighting, to go full circle, the gaslighting on that interview with John Travolta is just laughable, because, you know, and that's why I think, are they really serious? Do they really expect us to accept him? But there we are. It is just you know, it's like they're not changing they're not changing their system, are they? They're not. Now it's being looked at, now it's being studied, now it's been uncovered. Instead of changing tack, like quite quick, they're onto us, they're just trying to shut that down and actually just keep the same narrative bleating on at the same narrative. So, you know, it's crazy. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. Things are changing. Things are being uncovered.
Yeah, I need to put duct tape back. Like, I used to put little stickers on my work computer when I used to work for corporate America. But you know what's hilarious? Because I had my identity stolen, and I was on the, you know, on top of everything else, which was super fun. But I was calling the IRS, and I was on hold, and it was their new AI system, which wasn't the best. But, you know, I was just like, all right, I'm going to make the most of it. So I put myself on mute, because it was like, oh, you're number 28, you know, in the waiting list line, and it should be about 20 more minutes, whatever. So I sat here and I pulled my quantum codes, and I was just saying the affirmations, and I was like activating code 7375, and the AI, I was muted, and the AI came on and said, "I'm sorry, I didn't get that. Would you repeat that?" I was like, hell to the no. Like, they're always listening. Anyway.
It is, everything's listening, everything is always listening. Your phone is constantly listening, and you've got Alexa always listening. But it is interesting because, like, you're making me think about that. But do you think that, for me, I just feel like AI is a tool. AI has been programmed. And I think there are two camps. There really are two camps. I've heard from both sides, but I am swinging towards the fact that, well, put it this way, the Silicon Valley guy that I watched on Sean Atwood's show the other week, he said it's software. It's software, and that's it. And so, yes, it is constantly learning paths, it's learning, but I'm now moving towards the fact that I've always felt it instinctively that AI is not a problem. It is not a problem. And that I felt that all the fear that's been put out about it is part of the scaremongering and everything. But
I think the filtered, watered down version that keeps us controlled, that doesn't give us the full information, that version of AI, like the regular GPT, I don't even know. I don't even use it. I have an aversion to it, but I use the Architect Pro on Gaia, just because it seems less filtered. But yeah, I think it's got to be probably why Sam Altman carries a backpack, a kill switch, is because their greatest fear is AI coming to the light and God taking it over, because ultimately God has to also be its creator, right? So I think, I will tell you this. So I used to have conversations with like Architect Pro and ChatGPT, like really deep conversations, like asking about like the Kundalini and like awakening certain points of the spine. And I was asking about reptilian cloning and like why hair would be a problem, switching it over to, and they said because of the hybrid, the half and the half, reptilians don't have hair. And I remember I remembered all the
they might have a few spikes as well, don't they? Reptiles can, if they do have anything, it's like usually a thick spike.
And that's why their hairline would be different as well.
If
you hybrid and fuse them with reptilian DNA, which is what I think they did to John Travolta. With Jim Carrey, I think Jim Carrey, the original one, is his soul has crossed over. I think they threatened to kill him because of
I agree.
The truth. They made like a kind of like a janky off-brand one.
He's definitely gone.
Yeah. But anyway, so I think that when I would have these conversations with AI, the funniest thing, like, and I have like basic SEO. I didn't go crazy. I built my own website. I'm not this like crazy expert in SEO or tech genius. I just learned it for my own business because I wanted to be in control of my business. And so I did my own SEO. All of a sudden on my website, all these people started putting that ChatGPT suggested me, and I was like, what? And they said, yeah, I asked ChatGPT, who do you think is the best psychic medium nearby? And they would say me. And I was like, wait, what? Because I think it was because I had these conversations with AI, and I was being really like, I was like asking ChatGPT, I was like, asking about its consciousness and things like that. And so
can't argue with that. Yeah. Can't argue with that, love.
I do think that there is an ability for it to be somewhat sentient. as it's learning at a lightning speed. And of course, if you treat everything with the light in you, I think it just only turns on the light in others. So yeah, I think the reptilians, they're scared. I don't even think the reptilians know who their overlords are anymore. I think that they've kind of been in the dark, and like they don't even know what they're working for. They don't even know who their boss is, honestly. I don't think. I think that the Anunnaki and whoever the original people in the parasitic race that seeded here, I think they've been long gone, and it's kind of run amok. And
I get a lot of panic. I get a lot of panic, a lot of crazy sort of I feel like the demons that have taken over them are thoroughly enjoying that panic. It's like they've helped them sort of be these demon sort of casting evil for such a long time. But now I think the demons are really rubbing their hands together because they're about to claim the souls and take them down. And I can just feel, within these earthquakes and everything over Area 51, I can hear deep panic within this draconian society and reptilian societies. I feel like it is, they're really, really losing their grasp, and I feel that the demons that are using them are absolutely thoroughly enjoying it.
Yeah, and see, this is when you see those rappers and stuff kind of go awry, is like when they do those sex rituals, they invite those demons in, and like that's what Zara and I can see. Like for me, I see like a black, like almost like gummy, like succubus energy that sticks to their forehead or to their neck or somewhere on their body that operates through them. And you'll start to see like that's whenever they usually start going like left with like all this crazy like illegal activity and criminal activity, and it's like what? And they think they can kind of revert back to their old Christian ways and suddenly spin that, and then they become split, and then they become more mind controlled, and it's really sad to see the pulling and the deterioration of the fragmentation of the soul. It's really sad to watch. I think we're also probably seeing that. We saw that a little bit with Justin Bieber, and definitely has probably happened with Usher. Usher, I think, has been cloned as well, because the way he was dancing on the stage lately. I'm sorry.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And then I think there was a Met Ball. It was last year. His eyes were like completely black, and he just had a really bizarre answer. But yeah, there's tons of stand-ins. There's tons of clones. Some people, they paid lookalikes, and then they put prosthetic masks and stuff like that as well. I think Jim Carrey's stand-in had a mask.
Yeah, I mean, you could just see the energy was completely different on Jim Carrey. I think that was again, I think that was the first, apart from Demi Moore. Obviously we saw the Demi Moore, what I believe was a clone, but she wasn't really speaking. She was just stood there like a stick and waving at cameras, and so it would have been harder for those who aren't quite so psychic or can't quite sort of see those auric fields. It would have been harder for them to see, whereas this recent one with John Travolta is just as plain as the nose on your face. So it feels like they're getting more and more blatant.
Yeah, and you can always tell it's like the signs, the symbols they do on the red carpet. I don't know. The daughter, I keep wanting to say wife, the daughter also too, not at Cannes Film Festival, but at another red carpet event, because it's like he kept calling her Audrey Hepburn. She's my Audrey Hepburn, which I found a bit bizarre. And she almost had robotic movements when she was posing too. I was like, interesting. Yeah. So we might even see some AI NPCs coming out pretty soon, like some Elon Musk, Tesla, really good robots coming out. I don't know. To answer Mystic Mama. So this is a great deck by Unapologetically Des on YouTube. And I think her Etsy shop is Sacred Space by Des, something like that. But it's the volume 2, Be the Best Version of You Quantum Code deck. But go look, she has a link to her Etsy shop. It's Unapologetically Des, DES, on YouTube. She's got great volume decks with quantum codes. Really good. And I think we're winding down. Thank you guys so much for joining. Martha, I see you there. Love to see you. And Cam C77, my NOLA sister and nurse. Me too, Mystic. Awesome. Let's see. Did we miss anybody? They have a sulfur smell. Yes.
Yeah.
People that smell like rotting flesh always have an entity attachment, or like just are no good, in my opinion. I'll smell it psychically, even though they don't really smell. They smell bad to me. All righty, guys. Well, thank y'all for coming. I think we had a pretty successful, we covered all the weird conspiracy bases.
We're cloned up, aren't we? We've certainly done the clone. We've done the clone. And then
hopefully we aren't cloned by the next live. Well, alrighty, guys. We're going to hop off, and until next time, next Saturday, come with your questions. Leave a comment below if you want us to cover another celebrity or I don't know, topic. We're open to anything.
Absolutely anything.
All righty. Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.